Hey Soul family, I have a little download that I got from Spirit, reflecting on something that happened today. It was just a little blurb of my day, but as I often do, I sit and contemplate things and wonder about things and ponder about things, and stuff doesn't sit right with me sometimes, and I reflect and whatever. I was actually at it's not really a hospital, but it was like an advanced care clinic, a huge facility in Milwaukee actually, and I was taking a elderly friend slash neighbor of mine who can't get to appointments anymore due to some cancer in his bones and things like that that's really weakened him. And so I was getting him to his appointment, and went to the bathroom and saw this sign. I will drop a picture of it here, and it was in a lot of the bathroom stalls, and it said, every abusive relationship has a way out. And I first thought, wow, that's really great that there's a phone number on there. Is really great that we are supporting abuse and talking more about abuse and giving people resources to get out, and was happy that finally those conversations are happening. And then I do a lot of coaching with trauma and abuse, and it's great when people can get educated. It can be really powerful to have education. But then as I was like thinking about that, and I was like, dang, wouldn't it be an amazing world if we could, instead of just treating the symptom, the abuse, after it's already happened, after the trauma has already been endured, after the nervous system has already been fried, after the mental health has already come into play from all the trauma and the stress, and after our health issues failing, after our children have been damaged by it, after the trickle-down effect of losing friends and isolating and all that stuff, your self-esteem and your self-worth going down the tubes. Wouldn't it be great if we could catch the abuse on the front end and give the person support on the front end before the abusive relationship even happens? I think that would be more powerful and way more productive. It would lead to a whole lot of less mental health issues and adverse childhood events and just trauma that can carry on well into your adulthood. And then, honestly, some people never heal from their trauma and abuse, and they just continue to perpetuate the cycle all their life and possibly pass on some of that trauma to their children and future generations. So I have been gatekeeping this amazing tool that I've been using in my spiritual practices. I have, through my own traumas and abuse, I actually went down this path, this spiritual path of healing myself, and then took a ton of coursework on spiritual coaching and soul realignment therapy and all kinds of cool spiritual endeavors and certifications and training, because I wanted to heal myself and my children and people that I know. I know a lot of people, God brought a lot of people also hurting in the same way to me. I have a support group online, a private Facebook support group. So, and I love doing that, but it does get to be like just daunting some days of like, when will this ever end? When will these painful, abusive people ever stop? And I don't really believe that they ever will stop. I believe that's just the way the world goes. And I feel it's a spiritual thing. Those that want to stay in truth versus those that stay in lies, love versus hate, evil versus good, dark versus light. I feel like they both things have to coexist until the end of time. So we just need to get better as healthy individuals at discerning on the front end who's deserving of our time, energy, effort, money, our body, our thoughts, our feelings even. All of it is sacred, and we need to start treating it as such and having more discernment and wisdom in who we're selecting and to come into our bubble and who we're wanting to work for, things like that. So I've developed a soul quality test that I use in my own personal life, whether I'm going to join forces with somebody and like want to work under somebody as my boss, or make a team member, or a friendship, or obviously partnerships romantically. That's where a lot of the trauma happens. Somebody's cutting the grass. Sorry about that. Beautiful day. But I would love to share this soul quality test with you, and realize I've been gatekeeping it and sleeping on telling everybody, and I didn't even really realize it until it just hit me the other day. Like, the true healing needs to happen on the front end. We need to be so whole and wise within ourselves and trust our own intuition that God gave us to discern as we go out into the world, so we can prevent more trauma into our nervous system and not pass it on to our children and whatnot. So if you want this soul quality test, if there is someone in your life that you're just like, oh, things are off with them, you're just not quite sure, and you have a gut instinct, but you just don't know for sure, and you don't want to be the bad guy and push them out, or you're just not sure if you should, reach out to me. I can help you with the soul quality test. It's super easy, quick, cheap, and you can know for sure at least what you're up against, and then you can decide how you want to move forward and the potential pitfalls that can come with like somebody who's abusive and narcissistic. They tend to like lack empathy and compassion and conscience and their connection to spirit. They can fake all those things, but they don't actually truly genuinely have some of those same healthy, loving feelings that you do. They're not the same. And I don't even want to say it's good or bad. It's just what it is. Okay. There's balance in this world, light versus dark, love versus hate, truth versus lies. It is just the way it has to be. And some souls came here to live out that very purpose, and they do help a lot of us on our healing journey and learning how to set better boundaries and speak our truth and whatnot. They do have a purpose in this world, but we also have a purpose in like learning how to self-love and knowing our worth ahead of time to prevent more trauma for this generation and for generations to come. I think a lot of us are in this place of just wanting to stop the cycles of chaos and drama and trauma and abuse. And you know, if you're like, oh, I just would love to go to therapy and know for sure if my person's a narcissist, they are not likely to ever go to therapy and any kind of positive manner. And they're not likely to say yes to getting a psych evaluation. And even if they did, they probably would lie their entire way through it. They're very skilled at that. And does it really matter if they are? Like the label, we're throwing that label around a lot, narcissist, and like, does it really matter? It's just asshole behavior, right? And it's a choice people make to be that way. I think there is a difference between a good-hearted person acting like an a-hole and then a person who actually is an a-hole at their core, at their soul level, at a spiritual, energetic level. We have to start recognizing there's a spiritual aspect to all this. There's a difference between a good person acting like an a-hole because they have unhealed wounds and maybe they've been treated that way and they don't know any better, or a person who's actually an a-hole at their core, their soul is just a certain way, and they have to take from their environment to survive. And then who's acting good. It can be really hard to tell, and it can take years, honestly, if somebody's skilled enough of a manipulator and a gaslighter and a love bomber. They are really intuitive and on a darker side of being able to tell what they need to do and say to get somebody where they want them and get what they need from them. And it can take years in order for you to discern that. And sometimes that's too late. At that point, you already got your finances entangled in them. You're already in love with them. You already have children with them. Like, it can be too late at that point by the time you actually see their true colors. It took me 12 years. And it was only because I kept feeling really off. I kept being really sad and hurt and crying, and something's not off. My gut was telling me something's not right, and I pushed forward anyways. No, don't be that way. Don't be the jerk. You know, probably just had a bad day, whatever, you know what I mean? Making excuses. And then I actually was getting so sick of that feeling of something not being right that I actually started to pray for God to show me who he really is. And one night I literally heard, not audibly, but like, my thoughts were interrupted by God's thoughts or somebody's, my higher self, I don't know, said, tonight, you wanted to know who he is, tonight is the night you're going to find out who he is. And I did, unfortunately, uncover some things that were very unfortunate, and basically had been living a lie, and the rug was pulled out from under me and was very painful, and I wouldn't wish it on anyone. And I really didn't realize people like that could exist. So I went on a healing journey to educate myself and have been helping other people since then. And I just really feel I can't hold on to this knowledge that I have of being able to test a person's soul quality by reading the Akashic records and whatever cool things I can do energetically, channeling into the energy and reading the energy. That's what I do. I do Reiki, remote Reiki, and channeling, property clearings, all that jazz. But this is something I'm really passionate about right now, because I feel like we have a really huge narcissistic abuse problem. We have a narcissist problem, and there's no way we're going to ever be able to diagnose everybody and then what if we did? There is really no healing for somebody has to make a conscious soul level choice to change, and not likely that they will, not in this life anyways. And that label doesn't really do anybody any good, except for educating you on knowing what you're going to be experiencing and how that healing journey needs to look. So let me help you on the front end, and it can be for any type of relationship. You know, you're going to hire an employee, you have basic information on them that I can tap in. You're wanting to maybe work for a certain boss, date a certain person, friend groups, stuff like that. Really, that list is endless. So reach out to me at thezenzone@mail.com, M-A-I-L, not Gmail, thezenzone@mail.com. If you want help with this, or coaching, or remote Reiki for energy clearing, open up your chakras and be open to receive your own, you know, divine guidance. I really love helping people empower them on their spiritual path. You are the spiritual authority in your life, and sometimes you just need the right resources to help you solidify what you already know to be true, and then take the action steps needed in order to protect yourself. Okay, I think that's the end rant, but I'm gonna post that picture if I haven't already done it. And I wish you well out there in the world, and let's strive to thrive by avoiding potential pitfalls on the front end, because we're wiser now, we're smarter, we're dating smart, we're working smart, we are marrying smart, all that. Okay, bye.